All right, so we did a Viking Blood. Then we did a Viking Blood 2020. We also did a Viking Blood clone of this stuff, which is Dance Mod's Viking Blood. Totally different product. This is hibiscus, ginger, and hops. Ours is actually cherry, and it's a crazy old recipe that I just kind of modified, and we just keep fine-tuning along the way. But it's been a year since we bottled it, so guess what? It's time to find out what it tastes like. It was 14.85%, which is pretty respectable. Wow, is that a beautiful color?
It is.
As always, the first thing we like to do is talk about the color and the clarity of the brew. And it's red. It's very red. It's a beautiful red.
I would call this garnet.
And now we move on to the aroma. Wow. I know I say wow a lot, but this is wow.
It has these super deep, rich notes to it. It's like smoky and
A little
caramel.
char. Yeah. Deep fruit, like plums and dark cherry, and dried fruit really does make a huge difference in things like this.
And then my mind was searching, and it's like, okay, s'mores, but with cherries. S'mores with cherries would be what? Black forest cake. This is black forest cake.
I don't get the chocolate though. I get honey. I totally get honey and cherry. Like, it's very honey and cherry. Really wonderful combination. Like she says, a little bit of smoky caramelness. Just really, really nice so far. So I'm ready to take that short sip.
Yeah, no. No.
This is damn good. This is just really good.
This is mighty fine. What was our ABV on this?
14.85%. So this is close. This is like 15%. It tastes like cherry juice.
Now, you can see our brains have just shut off. We are on autopilot now because we both took secondary sips when we were supposed to be discussing our first sip.
All right, on the first sip. On my initial sip, my impression was I get the sweetness of it, but the tartness of the cherries and a little bit of astringency comes through from the tannins. Really balances that nicely. So it's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. It cuts through it very well. The honey flavor comes through in the middle, and then on the swallow, I get a little bit of the alcohol burn, but not too much. It's actually quite pleasant.
Even on the short sip, I'm getting a complexity far beyond simply honey and cherries. And
It's cinnamon.
that is making me happy, and that is making me want to forget this short sip nonsense and go straight on to the long sip.
Long sip. Hold it in your mouth for a while. Savor the flavor. Get a feel for it. I am almost at a loss for words. Trying to find something I don't like.
My brain is still reading chocolate, and I don't know why.
I think you're getting the tannins and some of the caramely flavors coming
Yeah.
through as like a chocolatey. Like, there's a little bit of a smokiness to this that I don't know what that's coming from. There's a smokiness. It must be from the dried fruit.
We have gotten in other things that we've used dried fruit and
dark
a
chocolate
smoky dark chocolate coffee type sensation.
I'd call it more coffee than chocolate.
And now that I'm thinking about many of the desserts and candies and things that I really enjoy, a large portion of them are a combination of chocolate and cherry. Like, I love black forest cake.
To me, candy isn't candy unless it has chocolate.
I love the chocolate covered cherry cordials, and so now
This is very reminiscent of that.
my mind has gone to the chocolate covered cherry.
It's not
cordial.
that sweet, obviously, but yeah,
No, but it's still, because it still has that bitterness.
it's got the sweet tart cherry thing.
And like,
really, really
even
nice.
at the very beginning, I'm not getting overwhelmed with sweetness. It is doing that sweet tart combination, and it's not too sweet and it's not too tart. It's just really delightful, and
To me,
it just gets richer and richer.
This is Cherry's Jubilee.
Yeah.
Very much so. A little more alcohol burn from the brandy that you would use or the cognac that you would use for that. If that's what you use, I think that's what you use. But I'm getting the honey character coming through, adding an extra level of complexity. I get cinnamon off of this. We may have added cinnamon. I don't remember. We don't go back and check on purpose because that way we're not biased. We don't know to look for this or
It
look
is
for that.
quite possible that we added cinnamon because, again, been that way. Table tree juice does have a
They
touch
do,
of
yeah.
cinnamon in their juice, and it's really a wonderful combination. And just a little pop added to the cherry flavor is spectacular. So I'm thinking we probably did add a little bit of cinnamon to this,
Yeah.
just because it's
We
such a
may have.
lovely combination. But I am getting some really exciting things with this, and one of the things that I like talking about is the texture that I get from the different beverages that we brewed. And this one, I'm not getting that syrupy cloying sensation. To me, my brain, when it's tasting this, thinks velvet. I feel like I have velvet on my tongue, and it's
Quite smooth.
It's making me happy.
It's rich and mouth-filling, though. It's definitely got a good mouthfeel. There's enough tannins to really give you a feel for it. It feels like it doesn't just, it's not watery. It doesn't just wash right down. This is a lot going for it. If you liked our first Viking Blood, the very, very first one, you know, when I had the beard that went down to here, that was an okay mead, okay, in my opinion. That was okay. I didn't really ever think that was a great mead. This is a great mead. This one is really good.
Well, if you don't include our clone attempt, which is a completely different recipe, this is actually our third Brian-style Viking Blood. Viking Blood.
Is it?
Yeah, we did one in between the 2020 version and the original.
I have completely blocked it out.
Yeah, and so we keep stepping up our game, and I think the second one we may have started the cinnamon edition, and then this is where we
it's possible.
started the dried cherry edition.
Oh, okay then.
If I'm remembering correctly, which is possible I'm not. But does it really matter? No, it doesn't, because this is just so good.
Yeah, this is incredibly good. The complexity of all those things melding, so smooth. It's just incredibly smooth. Like she said, velvet is a great word to describe it. It's got a wonderful color, a wonderful aroma, and a wonderful flavor that sticks with you. Like on the exhale, I'm still getting a little cherry, a little ethanol, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of the honey character still coming through on the exhale. This is the gift that keeps on giving. You know, you just keep breathing it.
All right, so
It was funnier in my head.
Now Brian needs to pour again some more in his glass. I think he's doing this on purpose, people. I don't know.
Me? No.
I think he's being tricksy hobbitsy over there. I still have a little bit in mine, but the reason why we want to
Need
keep
more.
a little, a little bit in our glass is because we're moving on to the chilled version. And
Sadly, I think this is the last bottle of it.
we've noticed that when we go back and forth, we sometimes get different sensations about which our preference is. So we wanted to make sure we had a comparative room temperature to go with
Now, the
our...
difference between room temperature and cold is as a beverage gets colder, flavors start to turn off, okay? Sometimes that improves the beverage, sometimes it makes it worse. In this case, I don't think it's going to make it better. I think it's going to be the same, or it's going to be weaker. It's going to be waterier. Because this is so good. There's no unpleasantness at room temperature. My prediction is it's going to actually make it a little watery.
Well, I don't know if I'm ready to make such a prediction, because I made a prediction on the date wine 1 year tasting that I wasn't going to like it chilled, and I was wrong.
I did not say I wouldn't like it. I just said it'll make it a little watery.
So...
Honestly, doesn't change it all that much. It still stayed nice and rich. You still get, I think it toned down the ethanol burn, the alcohol burn. There's much less alcohol burn on the end now. But the honey and cherry flavors still come through beautifully well.
I don't know. I think I get the same amount of alcohol burn.
Slightly more watery. I mean, it's not that different. It's about 20% different.
This is something that I was thinking about when I was tasting the room temperature one, and that the only thing that was a detractor to me for the room temperature one is I felt like I couldn't drink a lot of it. And I know that may sound silly, but because it's so rich,
This is an experience.
I think that drinking a lot of this, you just kind of eventually be like, oh, that's just too much. And it's not because of the alcohol, it's just because it's just so
It's a little on the
rich.
sweet side, but I wouldn't call
Yeah.
this like overly sweet.
Where the chilled version,
It's more like a cocktail.
feel like I could drink more of that before I'd be like,
Well, because it
This
toned
is-
it down. It's
yeah,
not as
yeah.
rich. It's not as full. It did tone down some of the flavors of it quite a bit. But as far as the alcohol burn, it's a little bit less than the cold, which is not unusual. And I feel like I don't get anything unpleasant to tone down. It's so nice. Just overall, this is just really, really great. And I know I keep saying that, but it just is. You know what's left.
Numbers.
We have to give a score.
Numbers.
Our scoring system is really simple. It goes from 1 to 10. A 1 is probably something you dump out. You just probably wouldn't want to drink it. A 5 means something that you would drink it. It might not be the first thing you'd reach for, but you would willingly drink it. Between 1 and 5 is varying degrees of ick. Once you get past 5, it means it's pretty good, okay? Once you get up to the 7, 8s, 9s, that's really good stuff. If you hit 10, that means it's pretty much the shining example of what a beverage should taste like to you. Not of that style of beverage, it's just that good. There's like nothing left that you would change. And that's really the way I see a 10 is there's just nothing to improve. There's nothing that would make this better. Not that I can't think of it, just there's no unpleasant flavors or textures or smells or anything that would make me go, this isn't quite there. That's the difference between a 10 and a 9.5, in my opinion. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3, 10. Absolutely. This is a 10.
So, yeah, we kept remaking Viking Blood because we had this
We can stop
concept
now.
in our head. Ooh, and here it is.
If we ever make another Viking Blood,
This
it
is
won't
it.
actually be Viking Blood. It'll be something off that family tree, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, we can't call it Viking Blood. We can call it Norse Blood or something. We can't call it Viking Blood because this is the shining example of this recipe,
Yes.
in our opinion.
Yes.
This is the pinnacle. It's done. We do not need to improve it anymore. However, the family tree can still fork,
Yes.
and there can be multiple branches.
Many directions.
This is one of those few times that I really do wish I made more than 1 gallon of it.
Yeah. But we have the recipe.
Yeah, we do. There's a video on it and everything. But hey, if you like this video, look up. There's another video up there. You might like that one too.
Thank you so much for watching.
And have a great day.